everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Ultimate Effort Show with Alex.
And Joe.
And hey, Joe, man, so good to see you, dude.
Always a pleasure, man.
Always a pleasure. Got my coffee. We're gonna get into some ICRPG today, man.
I got my coffee. I've since Christmas, I've been using the one that my sister-in-law got me. It's Edgar Allan Poe, or as I like to say, since it's a coffee cup, it's my Edgar Allan Joe.
Great. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you have Edgar Allan Joe with you, because you're going to need it. Because today, we are going to dive in to ICRPG, kind of soup to nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how does it work, and how does it unfold in actual play? You know, Joe and I have been playing and running ICRPG literally forever. I've definitely been in it almost literally since the beginning.
Since Jesus was a baby.
well, maybe not quite that far, but think maybe, you know, probably this time, February 2017.
As I say, it's been like 5 or 6 years. 6 years.
Oh, it's crazy. And probably at this point,
7.
yeah, probably at this point, I have maybe literally probably over 1,000 hours playing and running ICRPG. Thinking about it,
that I can say 100% yes, because let's see, when I first discovered ICRPG, when I came in with you know, the invite, and we played the oh gosh, what was the Deadlands? I'm trying to remember the name of that campaigin.
Yeah,
when I came in with that, I had only like sparingly used Roll20 and had maybe 150 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe like my total. I'm over 1,400. I'm almost 1,500 hours now, and that has basically all been ICRPG.
Yeah, I mean, we've been playing it and running it forever, almost nonstop. It's been our system of choice forever. So hopefully, in terms of like credibility and knowing a little bit about the system, that'll come through today and will be helpful for folks maybe who are just finding it, or even if you've been playing it for a long time and you kind of want to know, like, hey, some of the folks who have been playing it forever. And then, as you guys know, I've been a frequent contributor in terms of ICRPG, like kind of helping provide advice and tweaks. And we've even invented some rules that have made their way into canon, you know, as through the course of play with old Brandish. So hopefully our musings today will be helpful for folks.
Right. Shed a little bit of light on, you know, some of those dark corners.
Exactly.
Might be missing.
And then
they might not have explored yet.
Exactly. And then the other piece is, a couple weeks back, you guys may remember, Joe and I created an adventure from scratch, so you had the benefit of sort of our thinking in terms of adventure design. We made this adventure called Tomb of the Skeleton King, and I just thought, what a better way to kind of showcase ICRPG than to kind of put folks in the adventure that Joe and I created. So we're going to be running that today.
And I'm especially tickled a little bit because we've gone through, you know, we've made a bunch of characters together, you know, me, Alex, and everybody watching. We made a bunch of characters, you know, so we've looked at that. We've looked at a lot of like the GM principles and things, because we're always behind the sheet and behind the screen. So we've been putting all those up. Then we went through creating an adventure, and now we're putting all those things together. And that's just kind of cool. That's like we're getting the cake at the end of the baking.
Exactly. So here we go. I think it's best if we just dive right in. No DM or player left behind, and here we go. So, Joe, through the magic of television.
Okay, that was the best unscripted thing ever.
I think here we are with Tomb of the Skeleton King, and Joe, you've made an adventurer for our little one shot here.
Yes, indeed. I've got Sign, Elf Warrior, scribbled out in my notebook, like every character.
Oh, epic. Well, sorry I didn't use elf token art for you today, Joe. Apologies.
No, it's his hair is covering the point of the ears.
Yep. Just
because that totally looks like the badass warrior that I've got sitting right here.
Epic. Well, so one of the first things that I want to get into, right, in terms of your character. And one of the cool things about ICRPG is you're going to find that there are no derivative stats.
Nope.
You know, what is a derivative stat, right? So you've got some number that then points you towards another number, right?
Yeah.
Right. And what we found, you know, if you're coming from a traditional like sort of D&D type setup, right? If you've got a 14, a 12, or whatever, like those numbers just really kind of sit dormant on your sheet. Like they really don't do anything.
I think if you get into like a lot of the OSR or, you know, more of retro clones focusing back towards original D&D, you had stat checks kind of against that number.
Yep.
Or if you're playing roll under systems, but like for the most part, it's kind of like a leftover part, like the little thing in the corner of your eye is left over from the nictating membrane from a billion years ago when we were not human.
That's it.
Like it's a leftover piece.
Yep. So if you're playing any sort of D20 based rollover system, really what you really want to know is what is your stat bonus, right? And so the first thing ICRPG does is it eliminates all those derivative stats, like the 14s, the 12s, the 15s, like whatever. Like they don't matter. What really matters is that one number, that +2, +3, +1. Like, do you have a bonus in a stat? And so I'm curious, you know, Joe, in terms of your character, Sign, right? Does he have some cool stats?
Yeah, you know, it came out pretty good. I was building a warrior, made him an elf. Elf originally, you know, it had modifiers, choosing the elven ancestry or life form. So I got a +1 to my dex and a +1 to my charisma right off the bat, just for being an elf. And I had 6 points to spend as me creating the character. So I wanted to give him some strength, so I put 3 of those 6 points I had into my strength because I already know that's kind of, you know, that makes the burly, strong warrior. It's kind of the basis for those melee attacks. You know, I want him to be like hefty, you know.
Yeah, +3, man.
Get a little Conan feel.
Killer.
I put 2 points in my con because I wanted to be able to, you know, not just take a hit, but, you know, have him be like that hardy survivor kind of a thing. You know, looking a little bit like some Conan stuff.
Yep.
So
awesome.
to speak. You know, you get those ideas in your brain. My int and whiz, I left those completely alone. So anytime I have to use my head, I'm rolling just a flat dice. No bonus.
Flat D20, no bonus. All right. Awesome.
And I put my last of 6 points into charisma, and with being an elf, that gives me a +2 to that in total. Nice. And then of course I realized I just skipped dexterity. I had that +1 bonus from being an elf.
Oh, nice. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so in total I'm sitting on a strength +3, a dexterity +1, constitution +2, and charisma +2.
Okay. Awesome.
So pretty hardy.
That's really awesome. And then, so, you know, we've been sort of dancing around this, but not only are these stat bonuses, Joe's bonuses in terms of attacking or making any sort of check or attempt, right? So if he wants to make a charisma attempt or a charisma check, he's going to roll a d20, add that, you said +2?
Yep,
add that
+2.
Add that +2 bonus, and then try to meet or beat a target number. The other thing I would say is those numbers are also your saving throws. So there is no separate number for stat checks, attempts, all those sorts of things. There is indeed one number tied to each stat. And so if rocks fall and Joe has to dodge out of the way, I'm going to say, hey, you know, give me a dex check to see if you can jump out of the way. Right? And that means he's going to take a d20, roll his +1 number.
That probably would have made it.
Perfect. I was just going to ask you, Joe, if you would demonstrate that in the dice chat. So
I know I missed the opportunity on the charisma.
That's okay. So
that means I failed that roll.
Yep. But here, Joe rolled a d20. He added his +1 dex bonus. He rolled a 17 +1, 18. And let's assume that the number he was trying to beat is 12. Joe got an 18.
Yeah.
He easily passed, and he's safe. He didn't die from the rocks falling.
Right.
All right.
I didn't get crushed by rocks, but I crushed that roll.
Yeah, you did. All right. So let's get right into it. And for that, I'm going to take us to the first part of our adventure here, Tomb of the Skeleton King. And so what will happen is, you know, the DM will do his magic, right? And the DM will say, you know, in terms of our hook, right? The cobbler's boy is missing. You know, the townspeople have approached you sign as the defender of the town. Oh, this has a, you know, a Lord of the Rings kind of beginning. The townspeople have approached you sign as the elven defender to track down the missing cobbler's boy. And he was last seen up on the bluffs by the cliffs, like headed towards, you know, the forbidden place, this sort of tomb of the damned, where these ancient warriors were locked away in penance, never to see the sky. And so there it is, maybe with a lightning bolt in the background, like you have tracked the boy up to this tomb. And so you find a sort of a caved-in section of the wall and make your way into the tomb. And so, sign, I have you there at the at the bottom of the tomb there.
Oh yeah.
And
choking on the dust.
Yep. Choking on the dust. And importantly, we've been talking about, okay, so Joe has to make these checks and attempts. He's going to use his stats to do this. He has to meet or beat a number. What is that number? Well, in ICRPG, it's a single solitary target. And here, it is prominently displayed as part of the room. Joe has to meet or beat in this room a 13. Now, how do we arrive at a 13? Well, basically, that was up to the DM,
right,
to decide. But what does that number represent, right? So in traditional systems, right, there might be all sort of quote-unquote difficulty checks against a DC of an 11 and a 12 and a 15 and a 14 and a 13, right? And it's all over the place. ICRPG simplifies all that craziness, both on the DM side and on the player side. And so you have one single target here, the single number 13 that Joe has to meet or beat.
Yeah, and the nice thing with it being displayed, you don't come across that, you know, even if I just swung at a skeleton, say, you know, and I knew what the target number was, there's always just that little bit of cognitive dissonance as you're going through. It's like, wait, what did I need to beat again? What was its AC?
Right, exactly.
You know, it kind of slows that, like, it's a little like time sink, you know, in the standard game. But with this, having it right out and prominent, I always know right now that here, unless something changes it, I need to hit a 13.
Absolutely. And the other piece is, you know, it kind of has a little bit of like a Las Vegas feeling, right, Joe? Like you always know at any given time exactly what the odds are and what you need to do in order to be successful. Like you know what you need to hit, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like automatically I can see a strength challenge with a +3 to my roll looks a lot nicer than an intelligence or a wisdom, which is just a flat 20.
Yep.
Like I could already see, like, my focus, I'm going to want to try and do some strongman stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. It's really going to help you shine, you know, where you have those higher numbers. The other thing about having a single solitary target number that I think is so important here for folks to understand, maybe coming to the system, is that you're like, well, what, you know, you're telling me that like picking the locks and you know, moving the thing and bending the bars and all this, it has the same target number? Yes. But this target number of 13 is a complete representation of this entire room. And all the difficulties that you're going to experience fighting, maneuvering, making checks and attempts all throughout this room. In particular in this room, sign as you step through. And you know, smell the musty air in this antechamber, this entryway, with just a tiny bit of light spilling in from the hole in the rubble behind you. This entryway is extremely dark. And so you know that, like, fighting in this antechamber is going to be especially, and even making your way, is going to be especially difficult. So here, the target number is a representation of the darkness, of the rubble, of the potential threats, of all of the bad stuff in this encounter, in this space, and it represents the entire encounter in that fashion, and makes it super easy for everybody. So, Sign, we have you in the space.
Oh yeah, peering into the darkness. I think the first thing I gotta do is, that shield comes out, locked into my shield glove.
Oh, nice.
Which specialty equipment I took, so the shields don't occupy inventory space, which is good because my iron shield normally would take 3 spaces or 3 slots.
Ooh.
So a little bit of a tasty treat there.
Awesome.
But it still does take a hand. Like, it's not like a buckler. So I think my weapon arm has to pull out, and I strike up some flint and steel to light a torch.
Oh, epic. Yeah, so
and I do kind of want to cover real quick on this action economy, right? Because I know I have a move and an action, but my torches are listed in my adventurer's pack, so I do not have those equipped currently. So I think my action, since I'm digging through my pack to get these torches or to get this torch out, that is my action. I think that takes place of an action for me.
Yes.
Is striking up a torch. Because I had to dig for it. It wasn't ready. It wasn't equipped and on my belt and ready to go.
Yeah,
and then for movement. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And to get your flint and steel out. And so, maybe Joe, before we even go there, let's talk about this action economy in ICRPG, right? So the basic loop that every character can do is they can take one move and an action.
Right.
And in particular, they can take a near move and an action, which we'll talk about movement and distance in a second. They could also flip it. They could take an action and then their move to complete their turn. So action and move, or move and action.
Yeah, and that's near move still.
Or they could take a move, and then as their action, they could take another near move. That would be in total a far move. If you're coming from another system, you might call that a dash, but basically it's a double move, and that would be your entire turn.
Yep.
Or I tell folks, you could take part of your near move, take your action, and complete your near move. So, sometimes people want to imagine in the fiction, right, that they're running towards that cover, and then maybe they take that epic bow shot, and then they finish sliding into home base right behind the cover. That would be that sort of scenario where you could take part of your move, take your action, finish your move. But in ICRPG, it's real simple. One move, one action. Your action could be another near move.
Yep.
And in this case, Joe, you have taken your action. You've lit a torch. Rummaged in your bag, pulled out your torch, got your flint and steel. You've lit a torch. And you're also going to take a move.
Yep. Now that I've got this torch and a little bit of light, I think for starters, he's just, moving straight on up forward. I don't know if I can get to about there as a near move.
It is.
That looks about right. Cool. Yeah, then he's torch up, shield out, pushing into the darkness, looking around. Eyes not as keen as some of his elven brethren.
Yeah, awesome. And so here, very importantly, because Joe lit that torch, he actually affected his environment and noticed that our target up in the very top, it dropped to a 12. And so in this instance, now with light, Sign is not as disadvantaged as he was previously. All right.
Yeah.
Let's also talk a little bit about the movement system, Joe.
Yeah.
So you took a near move. How would you classify a near move?
Well, it's generally like the distance you can move, because we're breaking everything up into turns and rounds.
Yep.
And there's a lot of different ways. Some people say the round is 6 seconds. Some people say it's 10 seconds. It doesn't matter. The big point we know is that it is a short amount of time in the rounds we're using. Travel, obviously, you could make it a much longer time. But in that sense of, say it's like a full round is 10 seconds, and there's the chaos of everything moving at the same time, kind of broken into turns for ease of table use. So near is essentially the distance you can move and still do something within a given frame of time. And it just happens to be 20, 30 feet ish, somewhere around there,
Yep.
at a walking pace.
But I don't even make it that complex.
Yeah, I'm
I
over
just say,
explaining.
yeah, I just say, for your near move, right? Like you can move about 5 or 6 of your token size.
Yeah, there
so,
you go.
If you're playing on a table with actual miniatures, like move 5 or 6 of your token base, right? If you're playing here as we are on a VTT, believe it or not, we actually have kind of a grid based on the map that cut into the tiles.
Yep.
But ICRPG doesn't strictly count 5 or 6 squares, right?
Yeah.
But that's a comfortable kind of gauge for folks, right?
Roughly the length of a banana.
Roughly the length of a banana, right? So a near move, about 5 or 6 of his token. Joe will adhere to that. If he were going to make a double move, it would be about 10 to 12, right? And I'm going to give some flexibility in terms of largely gridless play in ICRPG. I want Joe to be able to do heroic stuff and get places. So if he makes it to hit an enemy who's like 7 squares away, I'm not going to say, oh, gee, you just don't get there, right? Like, I'm going to give Joe the benefit of the doubt.
Right? Just out of range.
Yeah, you got to sit there and look dumb now. Like, we're not going to do that, to folks. We're going to get Joe, right there where he can actually look cool in a moment, and that is ultimately the biggest thing here. Now, there could be a case where, right, Joe, he's like 5 or 6 squares short. Like, I'm not going to give that to him. Like, you just don't quite make it. Next turn.
Yeah, like I wouldn't, likewise, I wouldn't, estimate or whatever or what's downgrade a far move into a near. Like, that's a little too much.
Yep, correct.
But if it's just like a little bit over, hell yeah.
Yep, heck yeah. All right, in this instance, Joe has lit his torch. He's made a near move, 5 or 6 squares, signs looking around in the environment, and then his turn is over. And if there were another player, that player would take his or her turn, and so on and so forth, all the way until we got back to the DM. And in this instance, the DM would say, yeah, as you glance through, this antechamber is a mess. There are piles of rubble and bone everywhere. And somewhere towards the back, you can make out maybe what looks like a shoe. And I can do a little ping on the map there. And so sign, and now with the DM's turn being over, we come back to sign at the top of the round. So sign, what will you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got to push forward. I came for the cobbler's son, and maybe that's his shoe. So I think in this instance, I am greedily, I see that chest over there, 2 of them even. But got to go for the cobbler's son. So I think in this instance, I'm going to push up for a far move, which I believe a far move, moving across through all this space, should get me up to about where the shoe was.
Absolutely.
As he's pushing through, keeping that torch in, cutting through the darkness and getting closer to investigate this shoe.
Yes.
Yeah. And does it look like it's potentially child-sized?
Yes. So as you get there in the darkness, you see that shoe. Number one, it absolutely is child-sized. And unlike the rest of this place, it looks like new compared to the way the rest of this chamber is covered in dust. In fact, with your torchlight, you can just make out footprints to the point where this shoe, has come off in a flurry of steps. And then one shoe and one bare foot continue north towards the doors. Also, you recognize the cobbler's work. This indeed may be the handiwork of the cobbler's son's father, the cobbler. Whoa, how many cobblers was in that? 600 cobblers. All right. So the DM would give that piece, and then It would be Sign. Or then the DM would take the turn. I've got nothing else happening.
Ooh.
So Sign, what will you do?
Yeah, I mean, what kind of... Sure, I'm on a mission. I have to find the cobbler's son.
Mm-hmm.
But what kind of adventurer would I be if I didn't go and at least explore this? So I think he does still kind of moving north. I think he takes his near move over to check out this little bit, you know. I mean, to
Yeah.
quote Balger from much different game, longer time ago, can't leave this laying around.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Yeah, so through the torchlight, you make out what look like some coin scattered along the ground, as well as what looks like a chest. Do you intend to kick it open?
Oh yeah, I'd definitely like to pop that bad boy open.
Awesome. Give me a D100 roll.
Ooh, and let the loot begin.
Oh, 37. Oh, you find a pair of gauntlets, and they're fashioned out of fine silver. They are +3 strength when gripping or grappling.
Ooh.
And have silver properties.
Oh, that's a little haunted.
Right?
All right, that was +3 when gripping or grappling.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh.
And so, as you make your near move and then kick that chest open, I think, Sign, you hear this sound, almost like chalk, rubbing on chalk, maybe? This sort of kind of grindy, kind of creaky, like stretching sound. Suddenly over your shoulder, some of these piles begin to sort of like shiver and move. And then a lone bony hand reaches up, and one of these skeletons sort of rises out of the pile. And as you continue to glance around, more of these things rise up out of the piles. And you hear their heads like kind of grate bone on bone as they turn to look at you. So, Sign.
Ooh, man.
What will you do?
All right. I do want to, real quick, before we jump into what's going to happen here, I want to point out from the Game Master's side, what Alex has just done here is a brilliant kind of like, you know, like a great play on the GM side. The skeletons did not come out when I was at the start of the room. You know, it waited until I got all the way through the room. So the exit, the way out in case we need to flee is through all of those bad guys. It's almost like it's pushing the players or the heroes farther in. And that's like just a beautiful little GM piece, or a little GM, like, I guess you could say, trick.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Get them in the room first. So now it's going to force movement with this combat, as well as kind of dissuading you from making a quick exit of, oh, we need to come back later, kind of a thing. Yeah. So it's just, I just wanted to point that out. That's a great little GM tip in there.
Yep. Not only have I put Sign in peril now, but also now I have created pressure for him. Yeah. Pressure to respond and react and roll dice and have fun, right? Which is the whole point of all this. Yep. And pressure to kind of propel him forward. Having now found the cobbler's son's shoe, Sign also has the realization that, oh, this kid may also be in some sort of peril.
Right? That frantic footsteps that I saw where he lost a shoe in the movement could have been running from some of these.
Yep. So, Joe, taking back over, what will Sign do?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, ooh, boy, I could start combat, but I am just alone, and I do see these doors up here.
Oh, yeah. And I think I would give you this piece on your turn, Joe. So a Sign, kind of looks about wildly with the torch as these skeletons are pressing in. He sees these words carved above the door, like chiseled in. And it's like, those entombed here are doomed to never see the sky.
Ooh. Ooh, okay. Damn. I have nothing to make sunlight. Because I'm like, as a player, I'm thinking, okay, doomed to never see the sky. The player thoughts are, ooh, does that mean the sky could help me? Or the sky could hinder me? Unknown yet, but we'll keep that tasty nugget in mind.
Yep. And you see these elaborate doors leading deeper into the mountain.
Yeah, and I think, oh, I really think we should do at least some combat swinging, just to kind of like show these moments here, because this is a great position for looking at those move options, that action economy.
Absolutely.
So I think,
particularly that one pressing in on you, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I think first and foremost, like he's got to cast his torch down onto the ground there, because I only got the two hands and one of them's holding my shield. So keeping the torch out still gives like the light is in the room. But then I think I've got to draw the sword and move in to hit this, take a swing at this guy, just to kind of get him to back up away from the door a bit. Or, you know, best case scenario, to get him off the playing field. Oh, nice.
There it is. All right, so you have a move and an action.
Yeah.
You've done part of your move. As you move in, you're now at close range. And close range is where you're able to swing your sword.
Yep. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Those couple quick steps in and swinging in with this blade.
All right, yep. And for melee, that would be D20 plus your strength bonus.
Yeah.
Yep. So D20 plus your strength bonus. Try to meet or beat that 12.
Ooh, yeah. I must have slipped and skid through some of those loose bones.
Yep.
That swing, just a little over the top.
Yep. That's exactly what happened. And here at this stage, I think, Joe, it's a great time to talk about in ICRPG. You know, we have a miss. That's perfect. So Joe did not meet or beat the target of 12 with that 6. But ICRPG is so great because it takes some of the sting out of failure. And the way it does that is through this mechanism of giving you an easy roll on the next try. Okay, so
on my next turn.
Yep, on his next turn. So what is an easy roll? An easy roll is -3 off the target number. So if Joe repeats the same action next round...
Yep, that's the key right there.
Yep, same action, same exact action. That action can be an easy one, and so he'll be swinging at his sword at a -3. So he only needs to meet or beat a 9. And Joe's a smart player. He'll keep track of that. Target's 12, but he's easy if he repeats the same action next turn.
Right.
But.
Indeed.
But. Heading into this, we have the DM's turn. And this skeleton will not suffer your insolence, elf. As this cursed, doomed warrior takes his jagged, rusty metal blade out, and he attempts to chop down on you. Now, for all of the monsters who are attacking a player, they're not rolling against the room target. They're rolling against the player's defense.
Yep.
And in this case, Sign's defense is normally a 14. Joe was very helpful in putting that in his character at the very bottom, so you can see that down here. Yeah. He has just at his character name, he's got that 14. However, Joe, I think you have your shield out, right?
Yes, I do.
And so with that shield,
the reason I put the 2 numbers.
Yep, Sign is sitting at a 17.
Right. And this is just another thing, you know, for VTT, it's that same concept of having the target out in the open. It just speeds things up a bit. You know, in this case, this helps the game master because he can look and already see, you know, oh, okay, and he's got his shield out. Those are his defense numbers, a 14 or a 17 with shield.
Yep. So if I were doing this at the table with real miniatures, right, I would just write down in my journal, like, okay, I've got sign, you know, I've got another player, I've got another player, here's what their defenses are, and I would just make a little note in my journal, but I would still check with the player. I would say, okay, you've got a 17, I got that skeleton, he swings in with his rusty metal blade. They got nothing but a flat roll here, and the roll is incoming. Suspense dice. Ooh, only an 8. Ching, that shield takes it full on. And, you know, if I had hit the 17, you know, meet or beat the 17 of the player's defense, I would have said, hey, Joe, I rolled an 18. I think that caught you. And then Joe would confirm, yeah, that hits me. And then as a DM, I would roll my damage. But in this instance, an 8 does not hit sign. Ching, that rusty metal blade gets knocked aside. That's the end of the DM's turn. Other than these skeletons all start to move in. And now it's getting precarious for Sign. Sign, what will you do?
Yeah, well, I think first off, I have to repeat this action. The skeleton, you know, we're kind of locked into this melee at the moment. And as we had said, I missed him last time, but I'm sticking to it. I'm standing my ground and repeating that same action. You know, that missed swing last round against the skeleton.
So easy.
Now gives me that easy.
Yep. Meter beat a 9.
Just got to beat a 9.
Yep.
Oh my God. There it is.
Okay.
That's even bigger.
Yeah. Well, this is awesome, Joe, because, man, you rolled a nat 20, which is a crit. That's awesome. Yep. We can explain that. Perfect.
Yep. It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Congrats. And
I'm marking my mastery.
We get an opportunity to talk about effort as well.
Yes.
And we get an opportunity to talk about hearts.
Yes.
So lots going on here. Let's unpack it. First of all, let's talk about damage and effort.
Yeah.
Right? So a 20 we know is a hit. It will always hit. Right?
Yep.
And you're in a position to roll effort.
Yes.
Now,
right? Ignoring the 20 for a moment.
Yeah, ignoring the crit for a moment. In the standard hit, you would get to roll effort or damage. Joe, let's talk about what effort is, right?
Yeah.
So ICRPG, to make things simple for you, has very clear categories of effort, simple categories to help you remember. Okay, you don't even need a book to know what your character can do pretty much in the moment. You don't even almost don't even need your sheet almost. Because we know if Sign had been just kicking or punching or using his bare hands, right, with no tools or no weapons, he would be doing a category of dice called basic effort, represented by a D4.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing. The dice are kind of locked to the type of effort that it is, to the category.
To make it super easy for folks.
Right.
In this instance, Joe is actually swinging with a weapon or a tool.
Yep.
And he would be the next category up, which would be a D6.
Yes.
Okay.
And back on like the quick note on the character creation, I actually put 2 of the 4 points that I got to spend on my effort. I put 2 of them into my weapons and tools.
Epic.
And funny enough, which will come into play, I put 2 points into ultimate as well.
Epic. So we'll talk about that in a second. So Joe has a bonus to his D6 weapon effort category to do his damage here. So that's perfect. The next category up would be guns, which is a D8. So if Joe had a flintlock pistol or some other pepper box or some other type of, like think Percy, Vox Machina, right?
Right. Or even a blaster or a ray gun.
Or you're right.
If we were in a different setting.
Yeah, if we were in sci-fi, your standard assault rifle, D8. That's your next category up. If he were using magic, it would be a D10 or energy. Or if you crit, you would be rolling a category of dice called ultimate effort. Hey, ultimate effort show.
Ooh, which, like the logo, is a D12.
Is a D12.
But there are also abilities that can let you roll the ultimate die in place of a standard die.
Correct. In ICRPG, whenever you crit, you get to roll your standard weapon and tool effort, or if you're doing magic, your magic effort. and you get to roll a d12 ultimate die on top of that, along with any bonuses. So in this case, Joe, to summarize, because you're swinging a sword, 1d6 weapon effort.
And I'll go ahead and roll that. That would be my normal d6 plus 2 because I'm skilled with the sword. So 5 damage.
5 damage.
So I rolled my regular weapon. So that's 5 damage there, d6 plus 2. And I also have 2 points in ultimate. So I get to roll my ultimate effort and add it on top. Ooh, good roll. So that's another 13 damage. So that's 18 damage on this crit.
Ooh.
As I smash through this guy with my blade.
Epic. So you did 5 damage. This thing only had 10 hit points, which we'll talk about. You did another 13 on top of that.
Yeah.
And this creature is now dead. He's a pile of bones at your feet as your sword like crushes through him.
Oh yeah, I hit the right Jenga tile and the whole thing collapsed.
And the whole thing collapses. You just send a scatter of bone and teeth and like ancient sinew everywhere.
That was a great roll.
Yep, that was an epic roll. So I also want to talk about damage capacity, basically, like health, hit points in ICRPG.
Right.
And ICRPG chunks up everything into multiples of 10. So for monsters, for players, you're never going to see like 13 hit points usually, or 16 hit points, because
special cases.
You might in a special case, but in the traditional mine run of the game, everything is grouped into multiples of 10. Why? Again, to keep things super easy for folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because honestly, there really is no difference between a 9, 10, 11, or 12 hit point creature. It really is about 10 hit points. The same thing when you get to like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah. Just call it a 20 hit point creature, right? Here, these skeletons, right? These skeletons are all 1 heart, 10 hit point creatures.
Right.
Okay.
And there are, of course, exceptions to the rule. You can have like some smaller little, underling thing just have a 1 hit point. That's totally acceptable. Just any hit will drop it. Some other smaller things you can make, some little guy that's got a 5, his hearts are only 5 HP. Like you can like tweak it a little bit. But the general basic, run of it is 1 heart is 10 hit points. And
10 hit points.
It's things right through.
Sign, you only got 1 heart?
Yep, I just have the 1 heart.
Yep, so Sign has 10 hit points. And in the course of ICRPG, you're almost not going to see many characters that go beyond 10 to 20 hit points. That is a normal mine run, even for an entire campaign.
Yeah.
Now, why is that? It keeps the number small so that things stay super exciting. And as a DM, I don't have to work super hard to challenge Joe. And I'm not going to have these super like long slog kind of battles that take 6 hours because we're having to churn through 300 hit points, right? It's just not fun.
Yeah.
So Sign has 10 hit points. This skeleton had 10 hit points. ICRPG calls that a heart. So 1 heart, 1 bucket of hit points is a multiple of 10. And this also, in terms of Joe being the player, helps him keep track a little bit as he goes through. Like, oh, I did 8 damage. We got to be really close to dropping this thing, guys.
Right? If I do 2 more and he doesn't drop, oh man, this guy's a little beefier. Like like you can expect those, and that's okay to expect that.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
because it speeds us up. It speeds the whole table up, so we can explore more of the adventure. Which is the point.
You know what, Joe? I can hear somebody going right now, like, "That is so meta. That is just so meta." And I'm gonna be like, "Get over yourself." Like, let me just get over yourself. Like these sorts of convenient sort of tweaks and the thought baked into ICRPG makes this game super fast and super easy to run and super easy to grok literally for everybody. It just makes the game run so much smoother than traditional systems. So
and I don't even have to grab the monster manual and look up what we're fighting to get all my information.
Yep.
Looking back at like the people worried about meta, like I don't have to.
Yeah,
Like,
in
not
general,
that I would,
Joe's a
but
level 1 character. He's fresh out of the
yeah,
gate. He's going to know that the skeletons he is up against probably have 1, 5, or probably 10, just a
yeah.
standard 10, 1 heart set of hit points. So he's only going to have, in any given moment, he's going to have to do 10 to drop one of these things. Of course, since he's by himself, that's also going to inform him, like, oh god, it took 10 to drop this thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
There are 4 more,
they've got me outnumbered 4-1 in terms of hit point total. I may not want to
right?
stick around.
Yeah.
So,
The other things I'm thinking is they're probably all going to be doing at least weapon effort. That's a D6. I can
mhm,
take 2 good hits from a D6 weapon, from something doing weapon effort.
yep,
2 good hits and I'm dropped. Like I'm already thinking these things exactly like Alex said. Like, this is not a place I want to hang around.
exactly. So where we are, let's get back into the fiction. So
Yep.
awesome crit, Joe. Killer,
Mhm.
you obliterated one of these damned skeleton warriors. You
Mhm.
started your move at the chest. So you've taken.
Oh, this round I started right here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Not even half of your move, you
Mhm.
know. You kind of started here. So you took part of your move, you took that huge swing. What will you do with the rest of your move?
I think sword is immediately going right back in the scabbard, and I'm moving up here to collect my torch.
Yep.
I'm gonna want to take that with me. So still armed with a shield, but no sword anymore. Just a
Mm-hmm.
torch as I'm making towards the door.
Yeah, you instantly snag it up. And I
Oh yeah,
think, Joe, you could probably get through the doors. Like, I think you have
yeah.
enough movement to kind of smash your way through.
Then yeah, he's shoulders right into that door to try and make his way out,
Epic. So yeah,
or at least into the next space.
yep, they're massive and they're on old rusty hinges, but you do manage to make your way through. And that
Nice.
is going to bring us to the next encounter here.
Ooh.
So on the DM's turn, the only thing that's happening, Sign, is you can hear the kind of scraping sounds of those skeletal feet dragging across the stone, and you know that they are closing in on you.
Yeah. Oh man.
Um, in this space, we have a hallway that leads straight ahead, and here it looks as though everything is crumbling. Massive stones have dropped through the ceiling, threatening collapse. And Sign, what will you
Ooh.
do?
Man, I think, man, in this moment, just so that I'm not more overwhelmed
Mm-hmm.
or, being actively pursued, just to kind of take some of the pressure off of me, I've got some rope in my adventurer's pack. So I think, I think I'm gonna have to spend a round right here to lop a chunk of that off and see if there's a way I can secure these doors. Maybe prevent the
Oh,
skeletons from coming in after me.
absolutely. So, I think in this instance, Sign, give me the int or the wisdom roll to see if you can
Yeah.
work out with these doors. See if
Right.
you can work out a way to kind of tie them shut.
I'll take it. Yeah. Ancient door looking for, kind of in the fiction, it's like he's looking for not just anything to loop a rope around, but something that's going to be a little more secure and hold.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I've got nothing on this. This is one of my flat D20 rules.
Okay.
Ooh, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't found anything secured yet. Maybe he reaches up and he's like, this will work, but the wood crumbles under his hand and like I can't tie nothing to that.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah.
the stone is a little brittle or
Yep. So I think you hear those skeletons behind you, and you know they're going to burst through in one round.
All right.
So I don't even need to roll a timer. They were that close, if you remember
Yeah,
from the last frame.
yes, they were.
So in one round, they're going to be on top of you. So Sign any movement.
Yep, there's definitely movement. I think realizing that not going to have the time to do that at all can't seem to find purchase for that. He's going to push farther back. I don't know if maybe a near's midway up the hallway or so.
Yeah, probably there. Maybe 1 or 2 squares further. Yep.
A little farther. Nice. Yeah, we'll take it.
Yep. So there. Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, you run up the hallway, and as your footsteps echo, like you can see like all of these stones that have collapsed, making this passage extremely unsafe. And I think, Sign, as you make your way up, like you become aware of the sound of something to your right around the corner in the hallway, kind of pacing.
Oh man. Oh man.
Yep. And I think here is where I'm going to get my first DM timer going on the board.
Ooh, yeah, timers, Alex. I'm brand new at this. What do you mean by a timer?
Yeah. So here I've rolled a D4. This is my D4 timer, and it is a representation of things that are about to happen. And in the moment of the fiction, Sign has this appreciation that represents this timer, that this hallway is extremely unstable. And he feels that pressure. From a DM standpoint,
it's like either like that hollow feeling in your gut, or the hairs in the back of your neck are standing up, like something's not. Little dust drops from the ceiling. Oh,
exactly. That in D4 rounds, here I rolled a 4, so you have the maximum amount of breathing room. But in 4 rounds, Sign knows that something bad is about to happen. Like this place does not look stable at all. And Sign has that knowledge. So that's the end of the DM's turn. We will come back to Sign. What will you do?
Oh man. Yeah, I think that first bit, just that near move as he kind of comes up into the middle here. And I think there's that moment, Wolf, a tasty looking chest. Oh man. And I think, oh gosh. I think I gotta go with what Dennis would do.
Yeah,
there is a wolf there, and I know time is running short, so I think for the rest of my action, I'm gonna do another move.
Yep. Well, here's before you do that, here's what I want you to do, Sign. I want you to give me a stealth check. Here, it's Dex, and it's going to be hard. Ooh. Now what is a hard roll? A hard roll. So we talked about easy is -3. A hard roll is +3. And since I've asked for a hard roll, instead of a 12, Joe now needs to meet or beat a 15 as he makes this stealth save to avoid, he's in this loose scree with all these stones. Can he slip past without this wolf noticing him? But it's going to be hard because of all the loose stones. He might kick one and make a racket.
Loose stones, and I'm carrying a torch too.
So Sign, give me a hard roll on that 12 with Dex.
Oh no.
Oh,
I think as he steps out, he's kicking rocks away, still looking over his shoulder, knowing those skeletons are coming through now, essentially. They're going to be popping right through.
Yep. As you scramble over, for sure, you make a racket, and those that wolf like instantly whips around.
Ooh.
And
and then I definitely finish my move backing away from it.
Yeah, because it
shield ready.
It instantly perks up. All right, awesome. Awesome. Good job, Joe. Good job, Sign. Unfortunately, though, you made a racket, and that wolf is alerted to your presence. Good job making this, making the saving roll, but sadly, you did not meet the hard.
I did not.
Yep. On the DM's turn, a bunch of stuff happens. The first thing that happens is this timer drops, as like you now hear sort of a crumbling sound, and you see a few loose stones start to drop. You also hear behind you you hear those doors burst open.
Yeah, and I knew they were following me through.
Yep, and these skeletal warriors, the damned in this place, have now come through, and they start to move up the hallway. And this wolf starts scrambling over the terrain to make a beeline to your position.
Yeah.
But Sign, you're back up. What will you do?
Man. Well, I have a feeling I'm going to need a free hand soon. So I think, just in general, tosses the torch out kind of into that junction space.
Ooh. Okay.
And man, I got to spend my move to go back and pop this beautiful chest open.
Okay. You're going to pop the chest.
Right? Time is short, but I'm going for it.
All right. Well, give me the D100. And this looks like an epic chest to me, so there's a chance that you may find something
92.
Really nice.
92, that feels pretty all right.
Okay, this is going to be crazy, Joe. It looks like it's armor, but it's like this golden emblazoned armor. And on the back is a set of wings. So this is the wings of Gabriel. It adds +5 to your defense, which in your case should get you pretty close to maxing you out.
Yeah.
The wings are foldable. You can fly at will, and you can move 2 times your maximum move range.
Holy crap.
So you can essentially double your movement with these wings. And that truly is an epic item, but you have now sacrificed. You have sacrificed time.
What did you say? It was a +5 defense?
+5, yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously I'm not, with the silver gauntlets I grabbed so far and these wings of defense, I don't think I have had any of the time, because I didn't stop to put anything on. It's not like they just magically go on. So I think these are all like stuffed into the pack. Like I cannot make use of this epicness yet, especially with this time pressure. I'm not going to spend time to put this on. So I think if I have any little bit more of move left, sword comes out and he steps back forward, awaiting this wolf.
That is truly an exceptional item. Something of another age. I think it raises an interesting question. Why would the Wings of Gabriel be a loot item down in this cursed place? But that would be for another time to figure out. Right. The bad part, though, is stopping to get them has cost you time.
Right. They were placed by the loot rat. Go watch Viva La Dirt League. It's hilarious.
The timer drops to 2.
God.
As these skeletons move up, this wolf starts to rush in. And it's not looking good here for Sign. As when that timer drops, you feel a tremor and like some dust and loose scree tumble down.
Right. And I do have to say, as a player, I'm looking at this going 2 rounds, and I've got to get. I'm about equal distance from either set of doors, and there are stuff in the way. So this is one of those moments where, as a player, I'm like, I have to move even faster now because I got a little greedy.
Yeah, and you still haven't found the cobbler. Still haven't found the cobbler's boy.
Right. Well, I know for a fact he is not here. He is not in this hallway.
Correct.
Means he had to have gotten through to those next doors. So I think he's Sign is just gonna. I mean, I got a linebacker it. He's just gonna brace that shield out in front, and charge, and he's gonna attempt to dub move clean past if he can.
Yep. Nice.
That double nanner. Try and make it past that wolf.
Yep. So you took that first near move, and then you took that second near move. So as your action, so you've now taken a far move. Basically double near as a far, 10 to 12 squares, And yeah, you like make your way across those piles. But oh, sign.
Yeah, there's a couple attacks coming in and guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that wolf, you know, like it. I mean, it was right there. Like it doesn't take anything for it to be right back on top of you.
Yep.
And I think at least 2 of these skeletons come in. So sign, we got 3 attacks coming in.
Oh yeah,
on your 17 defense here. So first the wolf.
And I know I could have tried to make attacks against these guys, but time is getting really short, and I don't really want to, get crushed before I have a chance to find the boy.
Yep. So the wolf bites. You knock it away with the shield. One of these skeletons tries to stab with its rusty blade.
Ooh. Oh, he gets me.
18. Oh, man. Sign. 4 damage.
4 damage. Whew.
So you're 10 hit points, you're 1 heart. 10 minus 4, you now have 6 hit points left.
Yes, indeed. And sitting on 6.
And we've got 1 more attack coming in.
Mm-hmm. See, this is where the real danger comes in. Because if he had hit and rolled a 6, I would have dropped right here.
Exactly. Like sign would have perished in the hallway, but that other skeleton comes in and you're able to like knock it away. The timer drops to 1 as now you hear or feel a tremor come through the whole hallway and a big chunk of rock like drops at your feet. This place is becoming extremely unstable. Sign, you are back up. What will you do?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to run. Everything got really spicy really fast.
Really fast.
I got 6 hit points left in 1 round. A whole, like from what I've seen, what the GM has let me know, there's a whole lot of rubble coming down in this hallway.
Yeah,
so I think Sign has...
It's imminent.
Oh yeah, it's happening right after this move, on the GM's turn. Boom. So I think he's got a charge. He's doing that dub nan as best he can to try and make his way down that hallway and boot those doors open or shoulder into them if he can.
Yeah. So
yeah. Oh shit! This is pull. Ugh.
Yeah, right. This one's a pull, big guy. So yeah, like you're able to like kind of knock your way through.
Ooh, and I sadly had to leave my torch behind. Not enough time to grab it.
Yep. As you see in the dim light, these things come streaking in behind you. You have scant seconds left as you glance over your shoulder. That timer disappears and like all of this rubble starts dropping and filling the hallway. And this place, I mean, literally, like it's like starting to get buried.
Oh man, gonna have to find another way out. Hopefully there is one.
I think you
otherwise I joined the entombed.
Yeah, I think you watch the rocks like drop on your torch.
Ooh, but into darkness.
Yep, but you do manage to make it through to the next area. And
just barely, cloud of dust barreling in behind me, maybe some rubble.
Yep, exactly.
Man.
And I think though you have the satisfaction of knowing I think some of those skeletons were caught too.
Oh yeah.
But as sign as you make it in to the next room, this room opens up at the end of these columns. You see this giant tomb. You don't need to worry about light because this room is lit by these braziers that are giving off this sort of acrid smoke.
Ooh.
There on the dais, you see what looks like a collapsed boy. And maybe every now and again in his sleep, he whimpers.
Oh, man.
And, oh, man. Think I got to get another timer going.
Ooh, that's good for me.
Oh, man. So the DM timer here is another 4. Put that under the target. It's another 4. So in 4 rounds, something bad will happen. Okay, but we're back to you, Sign.
Ooh, man.
What will you do?
Yeah, I think now I've got plenty of light, so I think now he's just moving forward. Sword out, kind of a little cautiously. I'm doing a double nanner here, but I think he's kind of taking his time and making his way up just a little bit at a time, kind of peering around, because I've kind of already been informed there was skeletons rising up. I can clearly see some bones, and I know there are also some of those nasty black wolves of the hills somewhere around in here. So there's that potential thought as a player of like, there is something here. And plus I've got that ominous hair standing up on the back of my neck feeling with this timer ticking.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think he just kind of does this slow and steady dub nanner as it is, or a double move.
Yep. Yeah.
Pushing up into the space a bit.
Okay. Awesome. I think as you kind of sort of cross the threshold there at this, the marker of this outer column, like you feel this, like this huge kind of shake go through. These braziers all start to kind of, burn brighter almost in a way. And you see the lid on the central sarcophagus like start to slide, and this giant bony skeletal hand starts to come out, and you hear, "Who dares disturb my slumber?" As this giant skeletal figure emerges, the sarcophagus lid crashes to the floor, and this thing emerges like green, glowing in its eyes.
Oh man. King of the damned, it's best you put yourself back to bed. He cries out in response.
Timer drops to 3, and Sign, what will you do? This thing is nearly 7 feet tall. It fills the entire chamber, and it is towering over this tiny boy.
Oh man. Yeah, I think he just kind of like takes a couple steps in just to kind of center up, so to speak. And for an action, I'm actually going to do a recovery test, as Sign kind of steals himself and catches his breath, sets his shield, takes like a classic hero pose, as so to speak.
Awesome. So this is
great
time to talk about recovery. So, we've talked about your normal actions, right? Yeah. So your normal actions, you can, normally attack or make a check, like to tie the rope around the door. That one failed, but you could make a test. You can use your enter whiz to kind of get the lay of the land. You can you can do all sorts of things on your turn, right? One of those, a very special one, is a recovery roll.
Yeah, especially since I don't have any healers around, and I don't have any, medical pouches or healing potions or anything. All I have is this natural ability, like literally like catching your breath, or kind of, stealing yourself, like, what's the word? Like fortifying your resolve. Game mechanics, I'm going to try and get a couple hit points back. So my target's already a 13. And this is going to be a Constitution roll.
Yeah, Constitution check. Let's see, if Sign can kind of take a breather and center himself and see if maybe he can pull a couple hit points back here.
Right. Yeah, and the big thing is, if I can make this roll, if I can meet or beat that 13, I'm going to get my Constitution bonus +1, or 1 plus my Constitution modifier and hit points back.
Correct. And that is the recovery roll.
Ooh, just made it.
Just got it.
So you're full. So I have a +2 con, so I'm going to get 3 hit points back, which puts me back up to 9 hit points.
Back up to 9.
Which is a little bit better.
Just in time, his Sign is staring this thing down.
Yeah, and I think, He gets that recovery roll and he catches his breath. King of the Dead, I'm just here for the boy. He kind of declares, he sets, Sign kind of, I guess, either calls him out or, almost maybe bargaining could be seen as. But he just boldly declares out, sword in hand, shield ready. King of the Dead, I'm just here for the boy.
Yeah. And notice that bit of RP, right? That didn't take, didn't take up your action. It didn't take your move. RP, totally free.
Mm-hmm.
And the King of the Damned here on the DM's turn responds. And he is just like, you will pay for your insolence. And this thing draws like this massive blade.
The coin's in the mail.
Oh. And it flies across the chamber.
Oh yeah.
And makes an attack on you. So this thing is vicious. Nearly 7 feet tall. That massive blade comes spinning around.
Oh, that's gonna do it.
A 19. As it catches you, Sign. Oh man, this thing does brutal damage too. Let's see.
Oh, guaranteed it's gonna.
8 damage.
Ooh, see, I am so glad that I took the moment to do that recovery test because that would have dropped me.
Yep.
As it stands, I have 1 hit point left. 8 damage out of the 9.
Yep. And
ooh, boy.
The DM's turn is not over as the timer drops to a 2. Over on these braziers, these ones that are like, that are like burning, like, that they start kind of emitting this kind of acrid smoke.
Ooh. Oh man, I gotta get that kid.
Yep, and on the dais, the little boy wakes up like, what? What's going on?
Oh man. Sign,
you're back up and it's suddenly getting real tense. What will you do? Now remember, this thing is huge, so...
Yeah. I think he calls out, boy, I need you to make your way this way. Stay close to the columns and stay low. As he kind of like points with his sword, kind of trying to get the kid to move across that right side of the room. And I think for me, I'm moving in over to this side so that the skeleton will face me and shield up right in tucked next to this column, hopefully to get a little bit of mitigation against that massive blade. I'm taking a swing back at him. I have to hold his attention. Ooh. I have to keep it focused on me so that the boy can move.
Okay. Well, give me the attack roll. Do it up.
Yep. Oh, a 13, just barely.
Just barely catches him.
Nope, but that gives me I got my weapon +2.
Yep.
D6. Ooh, so I hit him for 5. And now I know that 5 isn't gonna, be enough to obviously kill this King of the Dead. But I know that my ability, my starting ability for my warrior, my slayer, is going to kick in next time I hit him, because I've just harmed him. So now I get to deal ultimate to any foe that I have previously harmed.
Nice.
So next time I hit him, I'm going to be rolling my ultimate, a D12 +2.
Yep.
So I've upgraded.
Yeah. So Sign, do you want to complete your move? Are you tucking in behind that column?
Yeah, swinging there, and I think he's gonna, back up into this space, kind of wedged up into that. But it had to be a hit and run. I needed him to stay focused on me.
Gotcha. Epic. I need
Come and dance, O King of Bones.
I need you to do this, Sign. Epic.
Yep.
I need you to give me the charisma roll. This boy is terrified. You
Yeah,
ask
he
him to
is.
run. Will he listen, or is he frozen in fear? Give me your charisma. The good thing is you got a +2 bonus.
Yes, I do. A little bit of elven charm. Woo!
Oh, nice. So
14.
so the boy listens and he runs over here. Is this kind of where you wanted him?
Yeah, tucking in around behind pillars.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so he hides behind that pillar.
Oh man.
As on the DM's turn, the Skeleton King,
Yes.
he absolutely comes over here. Now, he can't fit in that space. He's huge.
Excellent.
But you see that blade come out. And oh man, it smashes right through that column.
Ooh. All right. Hey, better call him than me.
And just
I've got a plan, as Chuck says. AKA 1 hit point.
Yep, and just flattens it. DM timer drops to 1.
Oh man.
As you feel this scenario is about to get way worse. This acrid kind of smoke, like it starts to fill this area, and you kind of feel yourself maybe involuntarily cough just a little bit as he smashes that column and the braziers glow brighter. Sign, you are back up, Elven Champion. What will you do?
Man. Yeah, I think he's got to call out to the boy again. I need you to start moving towards the door.
Okay.
As he comes in, takes another swing, and then moves his way up around past him.
Okay.
I'm going to be finishing, unfortunately, closer to the smoke, but I also want to try and kite this skeleton up away from where I hopefully get the boy to go to.
Okay, that's epic.
All right, so
let's get your attack roll in first against that 13.
Yep, here's an attack as he runs by. Ooh, not enough.
Oh, that's a miss. Yep,
catches a little something from the smoke.
Yep. However, what you're doing to kite him is super brave and awesome. So I'm going to award you a hero coin.
Ooh, yes. Ooh. I will take that.
Yep. Now let's talk about a hero coin. In ICRPG, the DM at any time for epic play can award a player a hero coin. What does that mean? It's a consumable. And Joe can cash it in as the player at any time to do one of two things. Either one, he can cash in that coin to re-roll a roll, not in the same round that it was awarded. So here he missed. He can't use it immediately. It'll be on his next turn. He could start to use it.
All right.
But he could re-roll any failed roll. Even a nat 1, he could re-roll with a hero coin.
Yep. The only way to get rid of a natural 1.
Or he could cash it in to roll a d12, the ultimate die, and do ultimate effort. Damage
on top of my
effort,
regular effort.
On top of his regular effort.
Right? Think like the same way as a crit. Like, it's not that I'm making something a crit, but I'm borrowing the properties or the benefit of that critical, combat success. It's letting me add ultimate onto what I'm already doing.
Correct. Awesome.
Which could be epic.
So take your hero coin because you earned it for that brave kiting maneuver. You don't need to roll again for the boy. He trusts you. He is listening, and he is now running for the door.
Nice.
Unfortunately.
Oh, no.
For you, Sign, this Skeleton King, he sees you there, and I think you're well within his ability to reach.
Yep.
With that blade, he kind of catches you in the open, and he makes the roll. Oh, but only a 10.
Yes.
He misses, like, Sign ducks under it and like does not catch you. I think, though, from the sheer force of his blow, he destroys this column.
Yeah, smashes through another.
Yep.
Oh, man.
The other piece that happens is the timer drops to 0. And with that miss, the Skeleton King, you hear him bellow, "Vanguard, to me! I must see the sky!" And when that happens, these bones begin to animate. And almost right on top of you.
Oh, man, yeah.
This skeletal warrior starts to rise.
Yeah, and anybody watching, you'll remember earlier I'd said that little piece of something to keep in mind was the inscription on that front door, doomed to never see the sky. I've just learned from the Skeleton King that we don't want him to see the sky, because I wasn't sure which way it was going to go yet, but I've just been informed that we cannot let them leave. That's the danger.
Yep. But we
need to keep them in darkness.
But the DM has taken his turn and signed, and is now back to you as you see that boy hastily running towards the door.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think I got to take a strike right here. I've got to get one in before I go. Okay. And I think, luckily, I did miss the Skeleton King last round. So I get to swing at him on an easy here.
Yep.
As I take a swing to barrel through.
Correct. So all you need is a 10. Ooh. 13 minus 3 is 10.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's a hit.
Ooh. And now here's where it gets great. My Slayer ability.
Yes.
I've previously harmed the Skeleton King, so I get to do ultimate. I also would like to cash in my hero coin.
Yes.
So I get to roll 2 ultimate die when I hit him. One for my regular ability and one just because the hero coin has made this a even better shot.
Correct. So let's roll your normal sword damage, because you did hit. So that's
my normal sword sword damage is just a single ultimate.
Oh, that's round. Right. That's right, because of the Slayer ability. But that's D12 plus 2.
Yep. So that's a 9.
Okay, so he takes 9 damage, and the Skeleton King.
Right. And now, like I do normally, I'm in the habit of, at least just the way I usually see it is, I don't necessarily like double my bonus, my effort bonus. So I'm just gonna roll a flat 2, or a flat D12. I mean, because generally, like I look at it as like it would have been a 2D12 plus 2 instead of D12 plus 2. But I mean, that's up to the game master. If I got to add my ultimate bonus again.
Ooh.
Get bigger. But either way, that'd be an 11. That is a solid 2 hearts in total.
Yep. Like the
sky will never be yours.
You hit this thing and sign, that surely must have been a killing blow. Like almost nothing could survive that massive hit. And this thing drops.
Oh, man, yeah.
Shattered.
Yes.
As you watch one of these braziers wink out.
Oh. Nice.
There's a new DM timer 3. Cool. And you start to see those bones start to pull back together.
Yeah, oh man. Okay. Ooh. But I think for the instance, he does finish his move.
Yep.
Probably only get to about here. Finishes his move back up around there.
A little bit further.
Oh, I could get a little more?
Yep.
All right, then, back into centered up in that main space.
Yep. Oh, awesome. Stein, I think as these things start to move in on you, only one of them can get to you. And you notice the vanguard of this Skeleton King, they all have these glowing magical weapons.
Oh, man.
One of them takes a shot at you.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh, it's a hit. Oh, no. Oh, the damage is 4.
All right, well, 4 happens to be 4 times more than it needed. As Sign is hit and drops.
sign drops, and I think the last thing you see as your eyes go dark is you see the boy running out the door.
Oh, he goes into it. Oh, man.
Yep.
Well, I think I do have to bargain. I think I get at least one roll, one attempt to see if he can pop before I think he's overwhelmed by the skeletons. Yeah?
Yep.
Because normally, like, it would come back around to my shot. I think you get at least one because I definitely know that these are the type of enemies that will stab the hell out of me.
So let's talk about dying in ICRPG.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the other thing, because it gives us a chance to kind of get that in play and practice.
So when it comes back to sign, he gets to roll a death timer, which is always a D4.
Ooh. 2
rounds. So sign is unconscious and bleeding out, having dropped 0 hit points. On his next turn, he rolls a D4. He now has 2 rounds until he bleeds out and dies. Okay, right. But he is allowed to roll a 20, or roll a D20, a single D20, no bonus. Yep. And if he gets a nat 20, he pops up with 1 hit point.
Yes.
So sign, roll to pop.
Nope, no pop.
Nope.
And now here's one of the other neat things. Any damage that I take, like if 2 skeletons came up and they both got a hit, there goes my death timer. Because I take damage right now, my timer drops by 1.
Correct. And you were bleeding out and unconscious.
Yeah. This is why you need to adventure with a party. Because right about now, I could really use somebody running up. Don't die on me, man.
Exactly. A teammate could revive him and bring him up from this down state.
Yeah, anything that would get him some hit points would pop him back to his feet.
These things are all over you. I don't think they even need to roll as they do the coup de grace.
Yep.
And sadly, Sign, the Elven Warrior, expires here.
Oh, man.
And that...
Man, I really should have taken the time to put on that armor or those silver gauntlets.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And that, friends...
That armor would have been dope.
That is the Tomb of the Skeleton King with a huge introduction to ICRPG and the basic mechanics. I hope that made sense to everybody, and I hope everybody has fun going out and playing ICRPG and enjoying it on your own. Joe, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Oh, man. Rest well, fair sign.
Yep. Hey, but you saved the cobbler's boy, so...
Right? I got him moving. Hopefully enough of those skeletons got crushed, on the way that he's got a clear enough way to kind of scrabble and run through all that and get out.
Yep, so...
Because that makes it worth it.
Yep. So we end up with the Rogue One ending. Yep. But in any event...
Yep. But fear not, because Sign's twin brother, Tyne, will be showing up someday soon to help out the town.
Yep. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us and for this sort of let's play through the basic mechanics of ICRPG, for running through Tomb of the Skeleton King. You almost got it, Joe. You almost bested it.
So close.
Yep. Well, but I guess take some heart in noting that you knocked the Skeleton King down 1 peg. I guess you may just have to come back later to finish him off. Everyone, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate your time.
Indeed.
And Joe, take us out.
Dangerous to go alone. So until next time, take a hero coin and always roll ultimate, folks. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.